Well, we're finally here, the ending of the Halloween season and the beginning of November. November being a month that is caught in between two bangers, it can often seem like it drags out. So let me give you guys some horror movie recommendations to watch this November.
We stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Drive-In. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what is up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to help you get through your post-Halloween blues. Because they're very real, let's be honest. We're horror fans. We love horror year-round. It doesn't need to be October for us to embrace all that is spooky. But sadly, most of the world has now moved past that. And with it, some of the movies that we might watch in October, we can't watch in November. Think of Trick or Treat or Halloween. I guess you could watch them, but it doesn't feel right. Now, November is a super underrepresented month, but I want to give you guys some movies that I think are perfect to watch during this time of year. However, not all of them are going to be Thanksgiving-themed films or even films that explicitly take place in November. They're just going to be ones to me that seem to fit that time of year. So first up on this list is going to be one that I have mentioned in a video for October a few years back, but I think it works perfectly in November as well. That is Ty West's The House of the Devil. Now, this is a movie that I think works perfectly in October or November because it doesn't explicitly state what month it is. All we know is that it is cold. And this movie really does feel like a November movie. Because if you're from the Midwest or just an area that gets colder weather seasonally, you know there's a difference between October cold and November cold. November is like not cold enough to be winter yet, but you know it is right there. It's about to rear its ugly head. And the House of the Devil feels like that. They're wearing heavier coats. A lot of the foliage is dead, but there's not snow on the ground yet. And that's usually what you see in a month like November. I also just think that with this being a cold, atmospheric, moody horror film, I really think it works perfect for this time of year. It's not throwing in your face that it should be watched around Halloween. I think if anything, you should just watch it when it's cold out. Next up is a little movie called Kristy, one that I actually watched for the first time a couple years ago based upon recommendations from some of my viewers because I was looking for things to watch during the month of November. Now, this is a movie about a girl that is seemingly being stalked on campus during the Thanksgiving holiday break. She stayed on campus and havoc ensues. This is not a movie that I love, but I do think it is solid enough. I think there's some really good tension in this movie. I love the fact that it is so isolated and desolate feeling. I think that that is the creepiest thing when it comes to anybody being stalked or chased or harassed in these types of movies, when it doesn't feel like there's a lot of people around to help them, especially when you're in a bigger area and it's so empty. And that's what you get from this movie. Now, the movie definitely is a slow burn and it makes you ask a lot of questions, but once you get into the third act, I think it packs a punch, and I really do dig watching this movie this time of year. Next up on this list is one that is a cult classic at this point, and if you're not watching it right around Thanksgiving, I don't know what you're doing, and that is Blood Rage. Look, I don't know many people that will go to the mat saying that this is a great movie. Objectively, it's probably not. But is it a great time and something you should watch every November? Absolutely. This thing is delightfully gory, insanely over the top, and in my opinion, the definition of a campy, fun slasher. It's not asking you to think too hard. It's not asking you to treat this like it's Citizen Kane. No, if you want a Thanksgiving-themed slasher movie with a ton of gore and a ton of nudity, Blood Rage is for you. Now, the next one is one I'm pretty sure most people watch in November, and that is You're Next. This premise is awesome. A family getting together for a reunion dinner in this big-ass house out in the middle of nowhere, and havoc ensues. The first time I watched this movie, I did not know exactly what I was getting myself in for, and as it unfolded, I really was engrossed by this story. I love the reveals we get, I love the motivation for why what's happening is happening. There is awesome gore in this thing and an insanely good final girl performance. Like, You're Next is one of those movies that the first time I watched it, having not heard anything about it at that time, I was like, holy crap, give me 5 more sequels to this thing. If I'm not mistaken, this was initially supposed to take place at Thanksgiving, but was then later changed to a family reunion. But it makes sense, because just like I said with The House of the Devil, this is a movie that looks like November. Not October, but not quite December. It very much looks like that middle month. That dreary, drab, boring month. Now, next up is one that's not really a horror movie, but it is one I often find myself watching in November, and that is The Addams Family Values. Now, of course, this plays into the Thanksgiving holiday, so it's perfect. But this is just one that I have a lot of nostalgia for. I've talked over the years that growing up, you were either a Munsters kid or an Addams Family kid, and The Addams Family was the one that was often on TV in my household. So I have a lot of reverence for these older Addams Family movies. Even this one. No, it's nowhere near as good as the first movie. I will never make that case. And watching it now as an adult, I can see a lot of the flaws. But I have a ton of nostalgia for this thing, and I oftentimes find myself revisiting it every November because I feel like it is slim pickings this month. Alright, so the next one is insanely over the top, super unrealistic, and just not good. But it's so bad, it's good. And that is ThanksKilling. I mean, come on. If you haven't seen ThanksKilling, first of all, I should just let you know, there is no ThanksKilling 2. It goes ThanksKilling and ThanksKilling 3. If you want to understand that, just watch the movies. I don't recommend ThanksKilling 3. I'm recommending ThanksKilling in more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. It's not a good movie. A giant killer turkey, let's be real here. It's not well acted, it doesn't look great, but is it a super fun time? Absolutely. This is a movie that knows what it is and it just goes for it. And I have always given credit for movies like that. These low-rent, schlocky movies that know what they are and they say, you know what, let's just do it up. ThanksKilling is a super fun time. And honestly, I will be the first to say we need more movies where giant turkeys are killing people. Now, before I get into my last horror movie here, I do have to give a special shout out to something else. And I know this is not a horror film, but I'm going to mention A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Look, I grew up watching all of the Charlie Brown specials and owning them on DVD, and I still do to this day. It's a tradition that I'm trying to pass on to my son. There's just something about those things. It just takes me back to a much simpler time when I was a little kid watching these things on VHS in my grandparents' basement while everyone was upstairs at the adults' table having Thanksgiving dinner or whatever it would be. See, after dinner, they would have in the dining room their own drinking wine and bullshitting with each other while we all went and did our own thing. And usually that included going to the basement and watching VHS tapes. And this was one of the many Charlie Brown ones that we watched. It's a feel-good short movie. It's something that is just a staple. You have to do it every year. But while it's not horror, I did want to give a special shout out to it because I watch it every November. Really quickly, I have not seen Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. I also haven't seen the film Pilgrim. I've heard people over the years mention these two as movies you should watch in November as well. So I'm not omitting them because I don't like them. I have not seen them yet, but I'm planning on changing that this month. But for me, easily the #1 movie to watch in November is Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. I was so excited when this thing got announced. Not because I'm a huge Eli Roth fan. No, he's pretty hit or miss for me. But knowing that this was going to be a whodunit, campy slasher taking place at Thanksgiving, I was like, we don't have enough of those. The fact that this is being greenlit in the 2020s is wild, but I was here for it. I saw this thing twice in theaters and I had such a blast with this movie. And I think that this is where Eli Roth shines. In a slasher film that at times is super gory and grotesque, but also a dark comedy at the same time. And Thanksgiving walks that line perfectly. It takes itself just serious enough so you know that there is real menace and danger here, but also gives plenty of moments of levity, and it just works. I love the cast in this movie. I love the kills. I love the killer reveal and how hammy that performance is. I love everything about this thing. This is a perfect slasher movie for me. I was blown away by this thing, and anybody that still hasn't seen it, what are you doing? We do not get enough Thanksgiving horror films, and we got a great one just a few years ago. So watch it if you haven't. So yeah, that's what I've got for you right now. I know it's nowhere near as long as the list you would do in October because you have hundreds of movies you could watch then. November, it is definitely lighter. But there are still some really good ones. And as I mentioned, some that I have been recommended that I haven't seen yet. And I'm excited to do that this year. But I want to know down below what you guys think. Do you watch any or all of these movies in November? And if you do, what do you think of them? Are there any other ones that you put in this month? Whether they take place in November or not, are they ones that you're like, I have to watch in November? Whatever it is, join me in the comment section down below. I want to thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. This is Nick at the Lost Forever Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.